on Nova Legends podcast, I have Robinson coach TJ Dade, whose Rams won their third straight Occoquan regional championship and are heading to a state championship home game against nationally ranked Thomas Dale. Coach, congratulations. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks, Julian.
Yeah. Well, look, Coach, this year, coming into this year, I had talked to Chris Jolly about your team, and he was concerned with Georgia Simonson is a tremendous player. She's your do everything post player, and Elizabeth Berry, also a very solid player. He didn't know where the points were going to come from. And when I watched your team the other night, and this is 25, 27 games later, you guys seem a very balanced squad in terms of who can score for you. Then obviously Georgia is going to be, is your leading scorer. So talk a little bit about your team and finding the balance that has gotten you here.
I had the same concerns at the beginning of the season. With losing a player like Caroline Shemp, I was wondering where our points were going to come from. Also on the defensive end, Amelia Simonson was arguably one of the best defenders in the region last year. So it was a big question about, who's going to step into those shoes. And it ended up being two sophomores who saw a lot of time last year, as freshmen. That's Maddie Catino and Tierra Butler. And, they've also been a big part of, why we are where we are. Elizabeth Berry, I think, is one of the most improved players in the region this year. I think last year she may have been scoring maybe 5 points a game, a couple rebounds. This year she's scoring an average of, I think, 13 points a game. And, it's really helped take some of the pressure off of Georgia because she's going to get double teamed. She's going to get junk defenses thrown at her. And, there are nights where she's not going to always be on. And, we need help from everyone else. So Elizabeth, we call her EB. She has been a big boost for us, on the scoring end. But also our bench. It's taken a while, but our bench has developed over the course of the season. Early on, we were going maybe 6 players deep. And as the season progressed, these players, through hard work and determination, they developed. And now we're being able to put them in rotation to give, some of the starters, breaks here and there. Some of our other starters, McKenna Huff, she's had a couple of really, really big games for us. She's a great rebounder. And, we have more of a, I'm not going to say in points that we're balanced because Georgia is, she's scoring, 18, 19 points a game. But we have very good team chemistry. We hang our hat on our defense. I think we're allowing a little over 32 points a game. So it's a whole team effort and it's a buy-in. These kids have bought in and it's been a lot of fun coaching them.
Yeah. 26-2. That's a lot of fun, Coach. So I bumped into you the other day, and you mentioned that Georgia has come a long way in terms of her balance, being able to control her body and stay off the floor, not taking the punishment she took as a freshman. Talk about the process and help get her where she is today.
Mind over matter. It was a thing where she was like a newborn fawn. When they're born, their legs aren't stable to hold the body up. So, a lot of that her freshman year, she had, black and blue bruises all over her body. Not because the defense put it there, it's because, she landed on the floor a lot, off balance going to the basket, things like that. So, we put a lot of effort into, her balance. Um, we talked to her about visual aids, and that's helping her to get square and focus on her target. And she put a lot of work in the off season. So, all that stuff is really, really paying off for her.
Yeah. Well, she comes in and out of the posts up really strong. She penetrates. She steps out, shoots the three, makes the pass. What position do you see her playing at the next level if she chooses to stick with basketball and not volleyball?
Um, I'd say maybe a strong forward.
Yeah.
Um, at that level, the bodies get a lot bigger, a lot stronger down in the post. Not saying she wouldn't be able to play, center position, but I think she'll be very versatile to be able to play from the perimeter. She's deceptively quick. She could put the ball on the floor and take you to the hole, and she's developed a knack for finishing around the rim from that range.
Yeah. Well, coach, you came very close to getting have an undefeated record this year. You had two narrow losses, one to Langley and one to Woodson. Is that right, coach?
Correct.
Yeah. Do you think it's good for you to have a couple losses in your record? Would you is it better to have that and the fact that you might have learned something from those disappointments, or I mean, do you always want to win? Obviously, in the heat of battle, you always want to win.
Well, you always want to win, but I know when we lost to Langley, uh, I talked to them about it being a wake up call, and it was the same thing last year when we lost to West Potomac. I didn't want to win, but I thought it was it was a great thing because it woke us up, and
I mean, you didn't want to lose. You mean you didn't want to lose, coach? Is that what you meant to say?
yeah, didn't
Yeah.
want right, didn't
Okay.
want to lose,
Yeah.
but at the same time, um, we took that as kind of a lesson learned and to wake the team up. And I think we hit a second gear after that game. When kids have success, sometimes they get a little complacent. They'll think they have to work as hard, think things are going to be given to them. And I think those losses, especially if you got one right before your tournament, could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Coach, did you ever consider, and you probably didn't know how good you're going to be this year, but would you ever have considered playing one of these top private school teams, like, for example, Paul the Six or O'Connell? Or do you prefer to stick with the public school schedule?
Well, we actually wanted to play PVI,
Mhm.
but our schedule was full.
Yeah.
Um, I remember, was it last year? We played Virginia Academy,
Mhm.
and I mean, we hung tough with them for 3 quarters, and they pulled away in that fourth. But that told us something also because we didn't have Caroline Shemp that game,
Mm.
and we knew we could play at that level, and we really felt good about the team that year. We also played Holy Child, and we lost to them last year. So our only two losses going into the tournament, I think, up until the West Potomac game, was to private schools. So yeah, it's a different level. It's another level, and I think it's good for you to get those games in.
Yeah. Coach, so you pulled away and beat Woodson. And at the end of the game, the score was pretty comfortable, even though the game was pretty close most of the game. Were you happy with your performance? Obviously, we're always happy to win, but were you happy with the way the Rams played on Saturday?
I was because the Patriot Conference is extremely tough. On any given night, and you can look at teams' records. I think anyone can beat anyone else. And Woodson is a very well coached team. They've got a couple really legit players. And, we had our hands full coming to that game um, with Kamali and Nedrick. They are lethal from the perimeter, and also they can get to the rim. So, we knew we were going to have, our hands full going into that game. So it was a game of runs. Um, uh, I didn't feel comfortable at any point until maybe 2.5 minutes left in the game. I felt pretty comfortable with us with the ball in hand, knowing that they have to put us on the line. But I thought our team was very resilient, coming back from a 2-point deficit at half, and taking care of things, a possession at a time.
Yeah. Well, you earned yourself a date with Thomas Dale. Uh, as I said before, nationally ranked team. What do you know about Thomas Dale, and what are some of the keys to victory against them?
um, I think withstanding their pressure. They are they're extremely athletic. They are long. Um, they go at you with it's mostly zone presses, and they are extremely active. And for us to be successful, um, we're not going to be able to allow that pressure to speed us up and turn the ball over, because that's what they feed off of. Turnovers, the running gun is part of their game. And I think that if we can do a good job of taking care of the ball, get them into a half court set where they have to defend us in the half court, I think we have a shot. I don't know there's a reward for us being the number one and them being a two, getting a two that's as talented as they are. Um, but that's the hand that was dealt to us, so we got to play it.
I think some of that's my fault. I've been one of the guys trumpeting that we need to mix some of these regions up for postseason, because the teams are ending up playing the same teams over and over and over again to get to the state final. Patriot and boys must have had, they lost on the fifth try against Battlefield. They beat them 4 times in the state semifinal, but they've mixed it up this year. And it's good for competition, but maybe a little bit tougher on the Lady Rams.
Yeah, but I agree with you. We played Madison, um, for what, 2 years, 3 years, and you know, we were like, would really like to play someone else. Well, they say be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
So,
Well, here
so
we
we
go.
got it.
Yeah. Coach, what kind of home court advantage is Robinson? Now, when I played at Robinson, it was a big advantage. We had a tartan floor, which you guys still have on the side courts, and so it was really hard to get your grip when you were playing there. People didn't like the way the depth perception was. We didn't have the scoreboard over top, so it was really hard to see the score when I played there. Um, is Robinson a big home court advantage?
Well, our only 2 losses came on our home court.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
So, it's nice to not have to travel. So, that's a big part of it, familiar surroundings. Um, I think there's a little bit to it, but uh, not overwhelmingly.
yeah,
I think, you gotta get out there and you've gotta execute. So the team that wants it more, the team that executes is gonna win regardless of where they're playing.
yeah. Could you be and not to ask you to look ahead because I know you got your hands full, but who's on your side of the bracket? Have you been able to figure that out?
Well, we would, if we were fortunate enough to win, then we would play the winner of Oakton Osborne Park.
Okay. So that would be a local-ish game. So as well. So
Yeah, so
um
that game would be at it would be at Fairfax.
In Fairfax. Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay, well, look, Coach, this has been great. Seemed like I always get to talk to you in the postseason because you're always there, doing the Rams proud. What an amazing legacy you're building. As you know, last year I gave an award out for the Man of the Year. You won it for your gesture to the Oakton coach last year in the postseason, where you agreed to postpone the game an hour or so that one of their players could make the game and not have to choose between the game and a recital. So you make us proud of how you handle yourself, your team. This is the first time I've seen them live. I've seen them on video lots of times, but it's different when you're actually there. And so I really enjoyed the way you played. Any of the Robinson fans or fans of good basketball who are watching, you should come support this team. They're a really good team, and it's going to be a heck of a matchup tomorrow night.
Well, we hope we don't disappoint.
I'm sure you will, because you never do. And look, the season's already been a success. Let's take it one step further, and hopefully you'll win. And we'll be talking again later on this week.
Ditto.
Okay, Coach. Enjoy it. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, take care, Julia.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.